Section 4.1, Graphing Equations in Slope-Intercept Form. Essential question, how do you rewrite an equation into slope-intercept form from standard form? So in this lesson, we are going to take equations that are written in standard form and get them into slope-intercept form. We always want to have equations in slope-intercept form before we graph them. Now remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So I am going to want to get y all by itself in all of my equations. So I'm going to draw my train tracks. The way I bring the negative 4x over to the other side is by adding 4x. So since it was negative, I'm going to add. That makes 0. Bring down my y. Then on the right-hand side, remember we cannot add negative 2 and 4x because they're not like terms. I like to do the x value first, which was a positive 4, and then my other value, which is the negative 2, and that's going to be my y-intercept. So when I graph this, the negative 2 is my y-intercept, the first point I make on my y-axis, and then my slope is 4, or 4 over 1. So rise 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, run 1, and there's my line. So every single problem in this lesson, we're going to get into y equals mx plus b form. So y equals 4x minus 2 is in slope-intercept form. Make sure that you're being careful that this 4 was positive, so that's why my 4 here is positive. This 2 was negative, so that's why that 2 is negative. So keep the signs consistent in front of your numbers. All right, second one, 3x plus 2y equals 6. Draw my train tracks. I still need to get y alone. This time I'm going to have a 2 in front of it, so I am going to have one extra step I need to do. Bring the 3x over to the other side by subtracting it this time because your 3x is positive, so to bring it to the other side, you have to do the opposite, which would be subtracting. That makes 0. Bring down your 2y. Then we're going to write our negative 3x first, and then our 6 is positive, so plus 6. Then in order to get rid of the 2 in front of the y, the opposite operation would be to divide. I am going to divide every single number by 2. So y equals negative 3 over 2 cannot be simplified, so leave that as a fraction, and then 6 divided by 2 is 3. So here is my slope-intercept equation. Y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 3. So I'm going to first put my first point on positive 3, and then from there, rise negative 3, run 2, rise negative 3, run 2. For x minus 3y equals 12. This time my y value is negative, so I'm going to circle that entire thing so I make sure that I remember that it's negative 3y. So 4x is positive, so I'll subtract it on both sides. Bring down my negative 3y. My 4 this time is negative, so negative 4x. My 12 is positive. And I'm going to divide every single number by negative 3. So these make 1, so I have y equals a negative over a negative makes a positive. 12 divided by negative 3 was negative 4. So put your first point at negative 4, then rise 4, run 3, rise 4, run 3. X minus y equals negative 2. For this one, I would squeeze a 1 in there, and negative y is the same as negative 1y. So this problem will be easier if we think of the y as having the coefficient of negative 1 in front of it. So subtract 5x on both sides. Bring down your negative 1y. So then negative 5x, negative 2. And then I'm going to divide every single number by negative 1. So those cancel, make 1. Negative 5 over negative 1 is 5. Negative 2 over negative 1 is 2. So y equals 5x plus 2. Put my first point on 2 on the y-axis, and then my slope is 5 or 5 over 1, so rise 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, run 1. And last, x minus 3y equals negative 9. Once again, there's no coefficient in front of the x, so I'm going to put a 1 there because it's the same as 1x. So subtract 1x on both sides. Oops, I forgot to circle my negative 3y. Bring down my negative 3y, put the negative 1x first, then the negative 9. Divide every single number by negative 3. And we have y equals negative 1 over negative 3 makes a positive 1/3. Negative 9 over negative 3 would make a positive 3. So a negative divided by a negative makes a positive. Put my first point on 3 on the y-axis. Rise 1, run 3. Rise 1, run 3. Summary.